Now this video reviews simultaneous equation problem solving. So our learning goal is to solve problems by forming algebraic equations and solving them simultaneously. It is not to guess and check. So when solving problems, you need to translate words into mathematical equations. Once you have two linear equations with two variables, you'll be able to solve them simultaneously. Now remember to always define your variables if they aren't. Okay, so let's look at the first question here. It says, I received better results for my maths test than I did my science test. If the sum of the two marks was 164 and the difference was 122, was 22, determine the mark for each subject. Now, this last sentence tells us what our variables need to be. We want to find the mark for each subject. So what if we go, let M equal mark for maths and S equal, make sure that doesn't look like a 5, mark for science, because they're the two things you want to find. So now let's read the question again. I received better results for maths than science, so that means my S has to be greater than my science. The sum of the two marks was 164. So M plus S equals 164, and the difference was 22. Now because maths is greater than science, it's going to be M take S is equal to 22. So we have equation 1 and equation 2. Now you can solve these by substitution or elimination. So you could rearrange to get a variable on its own. I personally think you've already got an M on its own and an S on its own. Okay, so you could either subtract these equations to get an answer straight out, or you could add them. I've always found that students prefer to add rather than subtract. So I'm going to go equation 1 plus equation 2. So M plus M is 2M. S take S is gone. 164 plus 22 is 186. We would then need to get rid of this 2. M is being multiplied by 2, so I divide both sides by 2. So my M is equal to 2 into 186 is 93. I now have to find science, so I'm going to substitute that into one of the other equations. Second equation has lower numbers, so I'm going to sub M equals 93 into equation 2. So I have 93 take S equals 22. I take 93 from both sides. So I have negative S equals 22 minus 93 is minus 71. So if negative S is negative 71, S has to be 71. The other way, if you can't see that, times both sides by negative 1 to get rid of the negative. Okay, so we have to finish with the word answer. Therefore, my maths mark was 93 and my science mark was 71. And just check, the sum of the two marks was 164, so 93 and 71, that's 4, that's 164. The difference was 22. 93 minus 71 is 22. So I know my answer is correct. Let's look at one more. A rectangular house has a perimeter of 40 meters and the length is 4 meters more than the width. By first defining a set of simultaneous equations, calculate the dimensions of the house. Okay, so this last sentence says what we need to do. So dimensions of the house. So let width equal W and length equal L. If you draw a diagram, you might find it a little bit easier to understand. It says the perimeter is 40 meters, so that's a sum all the way around the outside. The length is 4 meters more than the width. So if this is my width, this is my length. Okay, so perimeter is 40 meters. Perimeter is 2 lots of W plus 2 lots of L. 40 equals 2W plus 2L. And then I've got my length is 4 meters more than my width. So length equals width plus 4. I now have two equations, and this second equation has L out on its own. Okay, so if I label equation 1, equation 2, I'm better substituting in. Okay, I need to put this W plus 4 where the L is. Okay, so I'm going to sub 2 into 1. So I've got 40 equals 2 lots of my width plus 2 lots of my length, but my length is W plus 4. So now I've got 40 equals 2W, 2 lots of W is 2W, 2 lots of 4 is 8. So 40 equals 2W plus 2W is 4W plus 8. I get that 8 from either side, so I take it away, so it's gone. 40 take 8 is 32 equals 4W. If 4W is 32, I need to divide both sides by 4. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. So I now have my width. I need my length, so I'm going to substitute into equation 2. So sub W equals 8 into 2. So I get L equals W, which is 8, plus 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. So therefore, width of house is 8 meters, because I was in meters, and length is 12 meters. Okay, and again, you could check your answers. The length is 4 meters more than the width, and if I add 2 lots of 12 is 24, 2 lots of 8 is 16, 16 plus 24 is my 40. So I'm done. So you might want to now go to the worksheet and complete those problem solving questions.